Warm leads are better than cold leads. And the easiest way to get warm leads is by having colleagues you know to recommend your freebie or event to their subscribers. This process transfers some of the trust you've gained. Rather, they've gained for you. There's multiple ways to do this, including freebie swaps, affiliate promotions, giveaways, bundles, and summits. So stay tuned and learn more about the world of email partnerships.
This episode of the Lead Machine Growth Show is brought to you by Lead Machine, the step-by-step, tech-easy system for getting leads online. Are you struggling to get leads from your lead magnet? Are you tired of seeing low conversion rates and losing potential customers? It's time to revive your lead magnet and start attracting more leads. Download our free report, 10 Deadly Lead Magnet Mistakes That Are Costing You Leads, and learn how to create a high-converting lead magnet that engages your audience and drives conversions. Don't let common mistakes hold you back any longer. Revive your lead magnet today and download your free report at www.getleadmachine.com/deadly. Welcome to the Lead Machine Growth Show, where you will discover how to tackle your tech, master your message, and design your dream. Paul Guyan, the mastermind behind the Lead Machine, introduces you to trailblazers who inspire you to implement life-changing solutions and systems you can model to nurture your leads and get your offers seen by your ideal clients who will invest in themselves and you. Be sure you visit our website at www.leadmachinegrowthshow.com. While you're there, subscribe to us via your favorite network. Now, tune in and get ready to transform your vision into reality.
Welcome to the Lead Machine Growth Show. I'm Paul Guyan, your host, the Lead Machine coach, and founder of the Lead Machine Mastermind Group. I'm dedicated to helping you tackle your tech, master your message, and design your dream. Whether you're just starting out or taking your business to the next level, let's get this conversation started and turn your dreams into reality. Our special guest today is Ellen Finkelstein. She teaches online entrepreneurs how to get their knowledge out to the world, including how they can maximize their income with email marketing, which is one of my favorite topics. During her 20-plus years online, Ellen has successfully created and sold dozens of online products and courses. She uses her experience to help others turn their knowledge into online products so they can transform others. Ellen has become well known for her contrarian and, yes, wildly successful email newsletter formula, which she uses to partner with other entrepreneurs online, rank highly on affiliate leaderboards, and gain clients for her coaching and training products. So let's give a big Lead Machine welcome to Ellen Finkelstein. Ellen, thank you for joining us today.
Thanks so much for having me. Thanks for that great introduction.
Yes, couldn't have written it yourself. So entrepreneurs, coaches, solo entrepreneurs, they often say that they're having trouble getting leads, which is, everyone wants to get leads. It's the lifeblood to their business. And they're doing a number of things like posting on social media, paid ads, trying to get referrals from past customers, and which is a great way to do it. But what are some of the solutions that you suggest to solve this lead starving problem?
Thank you. I want to start by talking about the word leads. And the reason I do that is because I have a lot of people on my list who are not basically business people. They're knowledge people. They're experts people. And when you talk about leads, they don't even know what that means because it's a business term. But they know what potential clients and customers means. They know what subscribers mean. So those are the terms that I use when we're talking about leads. I just want everyone here who's listening to understand that we're talking about potential clients, potential customers, potential subscribers, people who can help you build your business. So I want to really make that clear when we talk about it. So I do find that a lot of those people, those experts, they're already on social media, so they figure that's the best way to promote their business, and they hopefully do get referrals from past clients and so on like that. But they often find that, number one, it's not enough, but number two, it's awfully time consuming and kind of draining. For example, if you're trying to get leads from other. I'm sorry, I'm kind of losing my train of thought here. If you're trying to get referrals from previous customers, you might be calling up your customers and asking them, do you know anybody who, could get value of it? And so there's this phone calling going on, and there's, sort of almost like begging going on sometimes. And then again, social media, we all know you can go down the rabbit hole with social media. And very often it just isn't really, you just don't get great results from it. And if you pay money for it, if you're putting up ads, as you mentioned, it can get very expensive again without getting really great results. One of the things I say about ads is that you shouldn't put up ads until you have an offer that converts really well. So not, do the ad first. First, you make sure it works and that there's an upsell that converts, and then the ads can kind of pay for themselves. But so many people do it the other way around. And doing a good ad involves, at least in my personal experience, going over lots and lots and lots of numbers that Facebook, for example, gives you. And they're confusing and they're overwhelming. And then you need to evaluate them and make changes and split test everything. And it's just really overwhelming, especially for people who aren't technical. So to me, it makes a lot more sense to work with people not so much your direct competitors, but other people who serve your same market, and collaborate with them. And not only is this more effective, but it's a lot more fun because you're helping each other. It's like two people getting together and helping each other. And it's just so heartwarming and such a nice way to do it. Now, there are sort of not such nice ways of collaborating with people. So there's some affiliate marketing that's really kind of hard and everything like that. Mm-hmm. But my experience is that it's a partnership, and that I gain friends this way. I gain people who are willing to help me. I'm willing to help them. And so it's kind of like a very light, easy way to do it. And as you mentioned at the beginning of the show, when you were talking about freebie swaps, when somebody promotes your freebie, for example, it's like it becomes warm leads. That recommendation is really important because people trust that person. Otherwise, they wouldn't be on their list and they wouldn't have clicked through. And they also wouldn't have clicked through unless what you're offering is of interest to them. So you get people who not only have trust, but they want what you have to offer. And that is just so different from kind of spraying your stuff out on social media to who knows who. So you're much more likely to get people to pick up your freebie that way. And then hopefully you have some kind of way of nurturing them and upselling them to something, where they will pay. And of course, that's part of building a business.
Yeah.
So I do a lot of affiliate marketing, but my approach to it is I'm only going to, yes, I'd like the commissions, but I'm only really going to promote you if you'll promote me. It's really for the partnership. Yeah. And I'll tell you a story. I think I can name names. It's okay. So I'm in a mastermind, and there's this entrepreneur there. His name is Danny Inney. And do you know him?
Yeah, I know of him.
So he runs an 8-figure business. He's very successful. I think he has 100 employees, and he teaches people how to create online courses. And so his target market is very similar to mine. They're people who are experts. He doesn't want people who, well, like, what should I write a course about? No, they should know what they want to write a course about. They have this expertise.
Yeah.
And he's very good at what he does. And his list maybe at the time was, I would say, 5 times the size of mine. And so he called me up because I had joined this mastermind group, and that's what he does. As people come on, he's, would you promote my launch? He does a launch once or twice a year. It's usually a pretty big launch. He has lots and lots of people promoting him because he's good at selling, and so it's easy to get commissions from. So people want to promote him. So we talked a little bit, and his whole tone of it was so. I said, well, I can give you opt-ins, but I don't know if they'll buy. And he said, don't you worry about that. It's my job to get them to buy. Your job is just to get them to opt in. And he was just so easy about it. And so I just really wanted him to promote me because, he had a really big list, and I went all out for him. And when I go all out for somebody, you mentioned before we started that I have this other business around PowerPoint, but those PowerPoint users, also, some of them teach courses or give online courses. A lot of them are trainers, corporate trainers. And then I have a LinkedIn group for training managers. Again, it's corporate. And then and that one is huge. And then I have another one around PowerPoint. Some of them do courses as well. So I promoted everywhere I could promote. And I ended up getting him over 900 opt-ins, which is like my all-time record. I've never done that before.
Wow.
And being number 2 on his even at that, only number 2. But the point was that now he will promote me all the time. We're a partner. We're like equal, even though I don't make 8 figures. And and my list still isn't as big as his is. He knows that I can bring him customers for his courses. And so he's willing to promote me back. And so that has been so powerful for my business. He actually runs a stable of businesses. It's not only Miracy, which is the name of his company that teaches people how to create online courses, but he owns these other businesses. Somebody who does storytelling, somebody who does something around coaching, and he's just kind of bought these other businesses, successful businesses, and they're all together. And so if he can't give me back from just his list what I've given him, he asks those other people to promote me also. And it's like amazing. I always have people promoting me, and it's an amazing thing to have for your business, to not be scrounging around for people to promote you. So I just, and the thing is that he knows me and I know him, and all these people, we become good friends online. Many of these people I've never met. Occasionally I did meet somebody that I promoted last February at an actual conference. I actually met somebody in person, but usually I don't. We do Zoom meetings, and we just get to know each other, and we support each other. It's wonderful. It's just such an uplifting, happy way to run a successful business.
Yeah, and what's interesting, what you just said about that, we mentioned referrals earlier, and that's what this is. This is the ultimate referral, but it's not a one-on-one referral. It's a many-to-many referral, and so that I kind of botched it in the beginning, but the trust that they have with their list gets transferred to you, and it's just like a referral that's one-on-one that you might get on an everyday business gets. If they said, I recommend Paul, he can help you do this, or I recommend Ellen, she's great at this, she helped me do this, and they go, yeah. And what that does is that it sometimes can eliminate any price problem, or you don't have to take it from the beginning. Like you said, it's a warm lead, and you can get down to it, to the what's in it for me kind of thing. And so it breaks down a lot of barriers by doing it.
It does. And I will say something about that. A one-to-one referral could sometimes be for a high-ticket item. So somebody, you might have high-ticket coaching, and somebody might refer you a client. So this type of referral isn't usually directly for a high-ticket item. So, for example, when I promote Danny for his launch, he starts off with an ebook, and then he has a workshop, and all of those things are free before he's selling his course. And so it's so easy for me to promote something free to my people, and I'm willing to, because I know the quality of what he does, I'm willing to promote it. I think it's totally relevant to my audience. He's actually something of a competitor of mine, and so yes, absolutely. So it becomes it's a different level than one-on-one referrals. But if you have a means to go from free to paid, whether it's through your launch, which might be like a free ebook and then a workshop or a webinar, and then you make an offer for your course, or it could just be a freebie swap, and then in your autoresponders, and I have like a 3-point system of how you upsell after a freebie, and I'll tell you about that in a minute. And so it could just be that. It could be an evergreen thing that they can promote you at any time. Whatever it is, it starts people off at that level. It also, the thing that's so special about it, I'm a big fan of email marketing, as you know.
Yeah.
And so not everybody who hears about you is going to buy your high-level thing right away. And so this is another misleading thing that happens, is like coaches will try to sell their coaching on Facebook, but it's really, really hard to sell anything high ticket on Facebook. So you need a funnel, we call it. A funnel is just a series of offers that one comes after the other. So start with something free, and then maybe something low price, and then something high price. That would be a funnel. And so you just, it becomes very easy to bring people in to your email list. And then, so let's say Danny promotes me for something of mine, but they don't all buy, but they're on my list.
Right.
And so they're going to hear from me, for years or something. At some point they might buy. And so the thing about email that's so special is this ability to have a long-term relationship with people over time, and even further develop that trust, and show people what your expertise is until they become customers. I think that's something very unique about email.
Yeah. And, you were a referral from Michael Whitehouse, and he said, "Oh, she helped me with my newsletter." I went, "Okay, this is really a weird newsletter. Gosh." I started following you 3 or 4 months ago, and then you and I talked, got to know. I got on your list, but downloaded some of your stuff, and it started. Gosh, she's really good. She emails every day. Wow, this is really cool what she's doing, and then you actually you like you said, you're building a relationship with people. You're asking me and 1,000 other people to give you
10,
some feedback.
But okay.
10,000, yeah, 10,000 other people for feedback on, do you like this new email style or not? And
right,
that was
the
really
last 2 days. Yes.
Yeah, in the last 2 days, and I downloaded I looked at the Google Doc and said, wow, and gave you some feedback, and then you actually responded to me.
I did.
And
so let me tell that story, because people aren't going to understand what it is.
Yeah.
So I'm running with a colleague of mine, Connie Reagan Green. We're running a summit. It's called Advanced Email Marketing Conference. It's running over several weeks, every Monday for 7 weeks. And we had somebody speak last Monday, and he's an email marketing expert. And both Connie and I send out emails that have multiple offers in them. Multiple offers means multiple links for people to click.
Yeah.
And he said what most email marketers say, the traditional thing is you should only have one call to action in an email. And
Right.
he said, so he suggested not putting the whole email in the email, just kind of having one link in there that says, go here to get the rest of it. And his reasoning was that my click rate would go up, which it did, because you couldn't get anything out of it unless you clicked. So everybody who wanted to read my stuff had to click.
Yeah.
So it didn't go up to very high, but it went up a little bit. But people hated it. They just hated it.
Yeah.
So I got more, and I asked people, that was the thing of the email. In fact, my first email was like a real clickbaity type of subject. Please don't hate me for this.
Yeah.
That was my subject line. And I did it for 2 days. The second day was a more traditional subject line. And the second day I included my table of contents in there, so at least they could see what there was to click about. But people didn't like it. They really liked having it all in one place. I think nobody actually said it this way, but it was almost like they felt like they were being forced to, tricked into clicking, because I wasn't giving them anything, and they just wanted it right there. I don't want to have to just go somewhere else. I just want it right there. And so it was such an interesting experiment. I thought it was a really successful experiment, even though people hated it, because first of all, I got a lot of feedback, and second of all, it validated what I'm doing. And I do get good results from my newsletter, even though I'm not supposed to, because the traditional email marketers say that you should only have one call to action in an email. And so the secret behind what I do is that because I'm emailing every day and I'm having multiple offers every day, when I want to promote somebody, I can promote that person, let's say, every day for a week. Like when I promoted Danny, he had a 3-week launch. I promoted him for 21 days in a row, but only along with other people. Now I do at the very end, when it's closing, I'll send out a second email with just that one, like a courtesy reminder, this is going away. And that does well. It's not that I disagree that having one call to action is a good thing for getting clicks. It's just that it severely limits the number of people you can promote, the number of partnerships that you have. So I think it kind of limits your business.
So do you put when you have the multiple offers in the email, do you put Danny at the top and you tell a story about Danny and then he's the first offer in the list? Is that how that works?
So not always, not necessarily. I mean,
Oh,
I do try to be strategic about what I put at the top.
yeah,
And
imagine.
I start with the story, as you mentioned, and
Yeah,
I try to be strategic about what that story is about. So if I'm leading into something that's important for me, then I will put it at the top. And the first time I promoted Danny, he was very important to me because I wanted to get to the level where he would promote me back. And
yeah,
so yes, I would put him there. And sometimes I'll do something like, I might not put the person first right away, but as it gets closer and closer to the deadline, it's like I'll move it up, or something like that. You try to get the best results that you can. But when I first started doing this, I thought, this is crazy. I'm just selling, 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 selling. And then people started saying to me, my subscribers, thank you for curating all these resources for us.
right.
And Michael Whitehouse has the same experience. He that's how he words it as well. It's like they really appreciate all the offers, and I've come to discover that people, first of all, I don't do it in a very salesy way. So if I'm
Yeah,
using swipe copy from another person, I'm toning it down very often. I'm, getting rid of all the old caps and the bold and the exclamation, 3 exclamation points. I don't like that. And I add my own advice. I'm teaching as I'm selling. And so people feel like they learn from it. They get value from just reading it. Occasionally I'll say to somebody, in my email, I want you to click this link, even if you're not interested in buying, because the sales page, you'll learn a lot from the sales page. It
yeah,
has valuable information in it. And I try to do that in my emails.
yeah. And your audience is our creators, and
Yes.
they are looking for an edge. They're looking for if you're smart, you're going to stand on the shoulders of giants. You're going to replicate success. That's a success principle that has been being taught for many years. And so you want to emulate what other people do, but you want to make it your own too. And I
Right.
think that's what you're doing. Um,
Before we
getting
go
back,
on, I made a
yeah.
promise that I was going to say something, and I don't want us to forget it. I
Hmm.
talked about a three-prong approach to upsells. Can
Ah,
I talk
yes,
about that now?
you bet.
I don't want it to, have promised it and not go away. So you have a freebie, and you want to upsell to something, some other product or course or service or whatever it is. So there are 3 places that you can do that. One is in the freebie itself, like at the end of the freebie, or if you don't think they'll get to the end, you can put it several places in it. But there should be a link to your upsell in your freebie itself.
Right.
Then when people get the freebie, they should get a series of autoresponders. And so there should be an upsell in the autoresponders. And then finally, what is the third one? I can't even think about it. I don't even know. I forgot. In your freebie, oh yes, on your thank you page.
Oh yeah.
So when people sign up, I strongly recommend having a thank you page. Now, the default in some email service providers is just to pop up like a thanks for subscribing thing, which
Yeah.
I don't think does very well. So
No.
you should go to a thank you page and tell people thank you and tell people to expect an email and, to look in spam and all this kind of stuff. And while you're waiting, here's the offer. So thank you page in the freebie itself and in the autoresponders.
Right. Thank you. And that's exactly what you're doing. I opted into today's gift, and I love it. I love it, love it, love it. And we're going to dive a little deeper, because what she did was, on the thank you page, she told me what to expect, and then in the thank you email, she gave me what I asked for, and then she told me what to expect further. I think she might have done both on the same page, on the thank you page and in the email. But then so what she's doing is she's increasing engagement. So not only is she having you download something after you've opted into her list, now she's teaching you to open her emails, and she's giving it in multiple ways. She's doing a video, and she's doing an email, and she's giving you more resources. So it's really, really wise. I learned so much just from that in the last couple of days
Oh, well,
preparing for
thank
this
you.
call, looking at that. So 3 prongs: the freebie inside and at the end, because you have that both. And then in the autoresponders, make sure that you include the upsell. And I
Right.
think you should, in your autoresponders, you should teach the people to set some expectations, teach them to consume what you've given them
Oh, yes,
by
absolutely.
teaching, and then of course on the thank you page. So that was a
Right.
three-pronger.
Yep.
So awesome. So getting back to I'm very interested in the email partnerships, the strategic partners, and affiliate marketing. We're not going to go too deep into that, but that's a valuable resource to add value to the people that you serve. But how do we find partners that will promote you, especially when you're just starting out? You've got no credibility. You've got, you're building it. You've got a base. You may have a few customers, and you're just starting out, but gosh, I could do the social media thing. I could pay for ads. No, I don't want to buy a list. I've heard that that's not a good idea.
No, it's not a good idea.
And I know it's not a good idea. I've been teaching that for 20 years. People want, I got this list from the convention. So how do we find them? How do we convince them? I think I know some of the answers, but how do we know that they're a good fit also?
Yeah. So the first thing, I do have a way of approaching people. And in fact, you're doing it right now, the fifth part of it. But basically, if you see somebody that you think might make a good partner, that you just happen to notice them wherever it might be, and I'll talk about some specific places in a minute, you want to sign up for their freebie and get it and see what their autoresponders are first. And that's really the first step, because you want to make sure that this is something that you want, a person and a freebie that you want to promote. So, you evaluate that in that way. And the person won't notice you that way. So that's just kind of for your own vetting. But then you want to follow the person on social media. Again, they might or might not notice. And if the person has a blog, I strongly recommend commenting on their blog, because bloggers love getting comments, and they will probably notice you that way. And then the fourth step is to respond to their email. So you mentioned, in my autoresponders, I ask people to reply. It's a good email deliverability technique, but it also increases engagement. And I ask them to tell me what they're working on, and it could turn into a sales conversation. You never know. So it has lots of good reasons for doing that. And so you want people to you want to engage people like that. So if you respond to their emails, this person that you're trying to get them to notice who you are, they will notice you. Certainly if the person invites you to respond, then respond. But even if they don't, it's really nice to just say, oh, I really like this email because of such and such and such and such and such, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So the last step is to interview the person, which is what you're doing right now.
Yeah.
And I have something that I call an unpodcast. It's just on my blog. I do Zoom meetings like this, and I record it and I put it on my blog. It's really, really simple, but you get to know the person and then you promote the person. And so you've taken the first step to promote that person. And that's one of the big tenets of getting a partner, especially if you're just starting out, is to, promote the other person first. And so you can do that with an interview. And then you might just say something like, I really love your freebie. I downloaded, I like it. Can I promote it? And, and if the person just says yes, you might just do it. But ideally, you want to get in a Zoom meeting with the person. You want to meet with the person with the understanding that let's talk about promoting each other. So that's, one way of doing that. Another thing is to organize a giveaway or a summit. And I would start with the giveaway, because organizing a summit, I think, is more work. And organizing a giveaway is work, but the technology of it is really just like your freebie. So it's like an opt-in page and a thank you page and a delivery page. And instead of having one thing on the delivery page, your freebie, you have multiple things on the delivery page. And so I kind of argue with people who feel like they have to hire somebody, all of this kind of stuff. I just think the technology of giveaways is pretty easy. The difficulty is just herding cats, which you're going to have to do anyway, find people. But the reason it works is because you're offering other people an opportunity to build their list, and they don't care how big your list is. So you can have no list, but if you bring people in who have whatever size lists, they care about each other's list size, because they're the ones who are promoting it. And so it is a good way to jumpstart a list.
And
And
I know a guy too.
yeah,
It's not the same guy, but I know another guy that we're organizing something like this.
yeah,
And
okay, yeah,
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 that's a great
right, right,
idea.
right, right. Now, in terms
Yeah.
of finding these people, giveaways is a great place to find them. So if you hear about a giveaway and you just sign up for it, you get to see all of the gifts. Those are people who want to promote themselves, and so they are very good candidates for partnering with you. So
Oh,
you can sign up for their gifts, not so much because you really want their gifts, but to see if they're worth being a partner. And then you can approach them and say, I saw you on this giveaway, and could we promote each other? This is what I have. Could we meet and see if we could promote each other? And most of those people will say yes, because they are actively trying to promote each other. So besides giveaways and bundles, which is just like a giveaway, but it costs something, then summits is another place. Again, these people are out there speaking. They're trying to promote themselves, and it's a good person. Those are good people to meet. Then there are network. There are a lot of online networking meetings just for this purpose. So you can, look around for those as well.
okay. And you said this a little bit this earlier, and Tom Poland just had I know you know him. He just had a webinar on his OPN, other people's networks,
Yep.
and he was talking about how to quantify, qualify, and looking at their similar offer, their list size, and things. He goes, he's real scientific about
He
how he
actually
does it.
has some software that vets people. Yeah.
Yeah. But you want to make sure that the audience of the person you're approaching is similar to yours, and they're of course they're not
Yes,
a
that's right.
competitor.
And
Yeah,
you'll find that out by signing up for their freebie, and you're just going to
right.
see. You just think, would this be useful for my list? And if it is, then it's probably a good match. Yeah.
Right. And so someone starting out can do a few of those things to get the giveaway. And we're in the giveaway season right now.
Okay.
So and we're in the summit season. So that'd be a great way to go and get started and start approaching people. And what do you say? Just have a casual conversation like we're having and
I mean, I
talk
have
about
a
promoting.
course on partnering, and I have like a template for a meeting. But basically, you start out by saying, I saw what you have, and I think it would be a good fit for my list. This is what I have, and you might just give them the PDF. You don't have to make them sign up for it. And if you feel this would be a good fit, you talk about what you do and who you serve and how you serve and so on like that. And this can be a little embarrassing, but I think it's worth it to say how my list is this size and what's your list size, because if your list is 100 people and theirs is 1,000 people, so it's not going to be an even match for a freebie swap. Okay,
Yeah.
so you can say something like, I'm willing to continue to promote you. This is what I would say. If it was an evergreen type of thing, especially, I'm willing to continue to promote you until I get you 100 clicks. Now, my list is 100 people. So I'm going to have to not only promote it several times, but go onto social media. I'm going to have to do a lot to get that person 100 clicks. And then do you think you could, would you be willing to try to get me 100 clicks? Or something like that. That's something that it's a way of, if you're willing to hustle a little more than the other person, you can match that. It's not just list size, and we also know it's engagement, and so on like that. There are people with small lists who can do really well with getting clicks. So I think and you also can't control the conversion. So the people go to that opt-in form, and not everybody signs up. So you can't control that either. The only thing you can control is clicks, and you can keep on working. I use a click tracker, a redirect when I do it. So if I want to have a goal, I'm going to get that person at least 200 clicks. That's usually what I want to get for people. Then I watch it and I don't stop promoting it until I've done that.
Ah,
And I
okay.
wish people would do that for me too.
Yeah. And what I'm a techie, so what was the tool that you used for that clicks?
Oh, it's called Simple Click Tracker.
Okay.
And it's put out by NAMS. That used to be run by David Perdue, and now his daughter
I know David.
Jen. Yeah, so it's part of that suite called Simple Click Tracker, and I like it a lot. I've been using it for years. It just puts all of because every single almost every single link in my emails, and I have a lot of them, is a simple click tracker link. So it counts them for me. And so I have like a dashboard all in one place of how well I'm doing for people. Yeah.
Is that a WordPress plugin?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, I use Pretty Links.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
very similar to Pretty Links.
Yeah.
Pretty Links used to have a free version, but apparently they don't anymore. At least this is what I've been told.
Yeah, I'm using it, and I just advised someone to use it, and I installed it on one of my clients' sites just this week, and you just download it from the plugin
Okay,
store.
so if they have a free version, then
Oh, yeah.
absolutely use it.
But free is good. Okay, and so getting leads from strategic partners, warm leads. What about getting leads? A lot of people are saying, well, I don't need an email list because I got this huge following. And I know you've been asked this before. So why is it so important to have your email list versus your big following on social media, which everyone seems to be focused on?
So first of all, you can lose your account on Facebook, and there's just been a spate of them. And unfortunately, Facebook doesn't, you can't talk to a person at Facebook. And so there are people who, usually what happens is your account is hacked in some way. So definitely set up two-factor verification. But usually what happens is your account is hacked, and then the hackers do stuff that's not in accord with Facebook's rules, and then they close down your account. I know several people who that has happened to, and they just never got it back. And so that's one thing. You don't own that account. Now, I will warn you that your email list, you own it, but you should be backing it up and downloading it, and putting it somewhere in the cloud safe. I used to do it once a month, and I just recently realized that's ridiculous. It changes all the time. I should be, I'm backing up my website every day. It's automated. I don't have to do anything with it. And with the email list, I have to, has to be taken action, but now it's every week because it would be devastating. But this way, whether they threw me out because whatever I was doing, or because if the company went down or whatever it is, I would have that list and I could just put it somewhere else. And so it's a business asset that's just so valuable. And I'm not saying that there are people who do well on social media, but to do well on social media, you have to be there all the time, several times a day. I just don't want to spend my time that way. For me, I'm a writer. You can kind of see.
Yeah.
I'm a writer and I'm a speaker. I want to teach people. I want a little bit more of a long form type of interaction and communication with people, rather than just a heading and a few lines of text and a picture. So it's not that doesn't work. We're kind of used to that nowadays. And also, videos and so on like that. But it's more work from my point of view and more shallow from my point of view. So it can work. And you kind of need a certain personality. You need really outgoing, bubbly kind of personality. And you need a VA to be posting for you. Like I have a Facebook group, and I have a VA who posts there like 3 or 4 times a day. And she takes stuff from my email, so it's pretty automated and so on like that. And it works, but I wouldn't want to do that myself. That's for sure.
Yeah, and people that I've been, following and looking for lead generation tips and whatnot. Alina Vincent is one of them. And
she's like an expert at Facebook groups. Yes.
Yeah, she's a Facebook expert group, and I owe a lot to her from some of her training. But she does teach when she runs a challenge. In order to get in the challenge, you've got to be a member of the group. And you've got to, in order to get the lessons, you've got to be on her email list. So she knows the value of the email list, and she builds that in. But the engagement is on the there's engagement both in the email and in the Facebook group.
Yeah, every day you get an email and it drives you to the Facebook group because she does challenges. That's her big thing. And so to actually fulfill that lesson, you have to post in the Facebook group in the right day and so on like that. Now she's very good at what she does with that. To me, it's just crazy hectic, but yeah, she's very successful with it. It's definitely something that you can do.
And then again, when the platform that you're doing this on, changes their mind on how they want to allow you to use their platform, then if that's the only strategy you're relying on, you've got to make, it could crush your business overnight.
Yeah, and
It really
Alina,
could.
is smart enough that if that happened to her, she would be able to turn on a dime
Oh
and
yeah.
use her email list, and she would find another platform, and she'd be up and running the next day.
Oh yeah. And there are many platforms out there. So we're kind of getting down to the end here. What are some techniques to turning those subscribers into clients, customers and clients? What are some of those techniques?
Well,
We
besides
talked about
that
a little
initial
bit.
upsell that I talked to you, like that three-pronged method of it, it's mostly just being there consistently. So I'm there every day. I don't say that everybody has to email every day, but whatever it is, it should be consistent, once a
Yeah.
week, twice a week. And your voice and your expertise and your knowledge needs to kind of flow out of those emails, flow into the emails, and then out to your subscribers
Yeah.
regularly. And you just need to be showing your expertise and that you care about them, and that you're teaching them. And then you need to make offers periodically. Make offers. Today I made an offer for my coaching and my mastermind. So we'll see. I don't know how many people will sign up from that, and I do it periodically. But it's all based on the fact that they've been learning from me and they've grown to trust me over a period of time. And as I said before, email is just unique about that long-term relationship building.
Right. And I'm wondering, what are some of the a lot of people say email, they've been saying email is dead for a long time. They've been saying social media is dead for a long time. So what are some of those email marketing myths that you bust because of your experience?
So one of the myths is that you have to have one call to action in an email.
Yeah.
There has been some research showing that people like what's called agency. They like choice. They don't, as a subscriber, if all you get is a one call to action email every single day with a different promotion, after a while, it's sort of like, okay, maybe I'm going to be interested in 1% of these, so I'm going to open every email just to see. It becomes kind of, so I make sure that every email is valuable. I have a daily hot tip. So even if they just open for the story and the daily hot tip, there's always something valuable. So I think the myth that you have to have one call to action, the myth that you can, the myth that and this is not the expert's myth, it's sort of the myth of people who are struggling with email marketing, but the myth that when you give an offer, that's like taking, it's not giving. So every offer, if you have good offers, they're valuable, they are also giving. So that's another myth, I would say. And the myth that, and I know people who do this really well, but who are successful with it, but I don't like this thing like, I have a really great thing for you. You really have to get it. So click here, that kind of email where they don't tell you what it is. And they're just, kind of hyping you to say how, they say how wonderful it is. And I won't click on those. I find it insulting. So that's the third one. You need to give people something. You need to.
And you do. We mentioned this earlier, but tell us about buying lists. Why is it so bad?
Just don't. Just say no.
I know.
Well, because first of all, if you're going to mass email them, it's illegal to email people who haven't been given you permission. So that's just the law. But if you do it, you'll probably have to lie to your email service provider about where you got it from in order to upload them. But then you'll get a lot of people unsubscribing and saying it's spam, because it is spam. And so, it's just not a good idea. And those people don't know you, so they're not really likely to buy from you. There's just really nothing good about it at all.
Yeah, and I've been in the corporate world for many years, and a lot of times we go to a conference, and the conference say, well, here's the list of the attendees. I mean, I get emails every day for people who want you to buy those lists, or there's offering them. And believe me, back in the day, 15 years ago, you could do it, but it was never effective. And
I think that I speak sometimes at this training magazine network, and they will give me the list.
Yeah.
And so I will send them one email. I'll kind of upload it to a separate place, and I'll send them
Yeah.
one email saying they're only people who registered, okay, for my talk. So it's like, since you registered for my talk, here's the recording, which is on their site, not on my site.
Yeah.
And I have something free for you. And then I try to get them to opt in. If they opt in, they're on my list. And if they don't, I never email them again. So,
Right.
there's a very limited way you can do something like that if there's a connection. Like, if you were a speaker at that conference and those people attended your talk, and you can get that list, you can email them one time and give them something and see if they'll opt in, but
Yeah.
not as a way of running a business.
Right. Right. Well, it's been a joy to meet you. I really appreciate your wisdom and your kindness. We probably could dig a lot deeper into email marketing than we have time for today. So maybe we can talk about you coming back, and certainly we'll talk more offline or online. As we wrap up with your final words, Ellen, what are 3 things that our listeners can do today to put these ideas, and there's many, into action?
So the first thing is start reaching out to a partner today. Like, just look around at all the people that are sending you emails. You could be their subscriber, or people whose blogs you follow, or people, whatever it is. Just look around and contact somebody and get comfortable. Start that process, because it can be uncomfortable at first. So start that process of having these little conversations with people and seeing if you can set it up. And if it doesn't work out, don't be discouraged. That's just one thing, so you can keep on trying. So that would be the first thing. The second thing would just be to make sure that you have a free offer, and that you have that little funnel of, a free offer and then upselling to some generally a low price product that kind of expands. So just have that in place. And the third thing would be, if you have not been consistent emailing your list, start being consistent. Even if you're just giving people a tip every week or something like that, the worst thing you can do is kind of get people on your list and then ghost them for 6 months. I know so many people have done this, and then try to say, oh, I need to make some money, so I'm going to, send them a series of, emails, a campaign. It's just not right. They don't like it. They know what you're doing, and it's not effective. So just be consistent, and you could start doing that today.
Right. Awesome. Well, thank you. Ellen has a free gift today. It's 10 techniques for better results from your emails, more engagement, opens, and clicks. And you can get that at www.leadmachinegrowthshow.com/10 email tips. That's the numeral 10 email tips. That's www.leadmachinegrowthshow.com/10 email tips. And thank you so much for coming today. And I know that you've got a hard break in just a little bit. So remember, faith and action go hand in hand. So keep the pedal to the metal. And until next time, Ellen Finkelstein and Paul Guyon, so long for now.
Thanks so much.
Thank you for tuning in to the Lead Machine Growth Show with Paul Guyon, where we show you how to tackle your tech, master your message, and design your dream so that you can transform your vision into reality. Remember to visit our website at www.leadmachinegrowthshow.com and enjoy even more great episodes like this one. Again, while you're here, subscribe to us via your favorite network. We look forward to seeing you next time on the Lead Machine Growth Show.